All right, guys, I've reviewed a lot of carry pistols on this channel. Glocks, SIGs, Kimbers, Shadow Systems, Staccatos, Comps guns, the 2011 style. And then even just within those, looking at custom guns that are pushing prices to where you really should be thinking twice about, is this the carry gun that you want that's going to best serve your needs? Or is this a little bit overkill? And then just quite genuinely, where are you at financially? So I think it's about time that we've come back to the channel, bring some sensibility back. And I just ultimately want the content to be friendly towards a wider array of an audience. But sometimes I do get the question like that I ask myself, do I sometimes make concealed carry a little bit more complicated and confusing than it really ought to be? Because honestly, this little gun may certainly, may certainly be the answer for 90% of you guys, of people out there. With Smith & Wesson, just like their MMP 1.0, just like their bodyguard, which left a lot of people wanting more, even their CSX. And I know a lot of people give the 365 from SIG credit for revolutionizing the carry market, which yes, absolutely. But I think before the 365, the Glock 43X, the Hellcat, the Shield, not this one, was everywhere. And then like the 365 did for the concealed carry market, the Shield Plus came in and fixed the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems, which was the capacity issue. Solving that problem, it gave you 10 round magazines, flush fit, as well as 13 round magazines that give you a little bit of an extension for that pinky. And then obviously you do have an option to give you a pinky extension there, which is definitely helpful. Even for me with small hands, like I would prefer to carry this gun with that pinky extension as opposed to running it slick. Okay, so fantastic. Problem solved. Now this gun is a serious contender and something you should definitely think about for concealed carry in 2026 among a very robust lineup. But I think it's really helpful to know what category that this gun and also any gun that you're considering for a purchase falls into, because that will inform like the big key question, the big key purchase decision, and kind of filter out the rest of the fun, nice to haves. And sometimes you could argue the things that don't matter. Oh, allergies. It doesn't really matter what the trigger pull is. It doesn't really matter what the accuracy is. I mean, like, yes, it does, but ultimately you're kind of pulling hairs. Doesn't matter how cool it looks on Instagram, how Gucci of a gun it appears to be. What really ultimately matters is, will you carry this gun every day, or at least most days? If you're not necessarily looking to add this into your carry rotation, but you want this to be like the carry gun that you reach for. What it distills down to is how comfortable is the gun, because a gun that is thin ultimately will disappear on your body. I mean, like, sure, length does matter, but I would argue that, you know, the thinness or lack thereof of a gun is what is going to greatly impact the carrying experience. If I were to run it with the 10 round mag versus that 13 round mag, it's not going to make as big of a difference as having a thinner gun of this style. Additionally, at least for me, comfortable guns are the ones that get carried. If it's not comfy, they might sound a little bit, you know, precious, but I'm ultimately just going to leave it at home, or at least I'll be looking for a different gun that's more comfortable to replace it, or something that I can reach for more often in the carry rotation, in the carry lineup, if you guys have multiple carry guns that you're going back and forth between. So I'd love to talk about how it conceals, how it shoots, and just my experience overall with this gun before we jump too far in. Just like my MMP 2.0 video that I did, where it's like the original MMP, this is kind of like the OG Shield Plus. So I know it's really boring, and people are going to be like, get the Performance Center, get the, you know, XYZ different variants of this gun. However, I think this is a great foundation to start with. Ultimately, I would argue, too, this is a fantastic spot to build off of and customize if that's something that you're into, which for me, that absolutely is. Not saying you have to. Like, this is definitely a very carryable, very shootable gun, and definitely something that you can trust your life to just right out of the box. No gimmicks, no add-ons, no kind of custom Gucci stuff in the picture at all. Next up, some fantastic supporters of the channel. Go ahead and check them out. There's a landing page, little link in the description down below that you can click. Lots of affiliate links, lots of gear that I enjoy using and that, you know, do help out the channel a little bit, so I appreciate the support. This gun that we're rocking has a red dot on it. This red dot is from AT3 Tactical. It's their Aero Mini. It's a fantastic dot. Great battery life, decent glass clarity, not too much like distortion or bluing. Pretty useful and helpful for my astigmatism. It stays zeroed. The housing is polymer, so it's a very lightweight red dot. My only gripes are the style of windage and elevation adjustments are going to be using a kind of mini Allen wrench, very, very thin one. And sometimes the issue with those is they can get stripped out and then you can't no longer zero your gun. So be careful about how much pressure you apply and kind of the zeroing process. But also it does have a bottom mounted battery, and that can also be a downside. That's not something that I necessarily prefer, but good news is it has fantastic battery life, so you're not going to be changing the battery out all that often. They sent the dot out to me for free, so it's been awesome to use on this gun because I don't love shooting smaller guns especially. I don't prefer iron sights in general, but like once you shorten that slide radius, it becomes a little bit less ideal. Saviti, go ahead and check them out. They just sent this to me for free. I'm really enjoying the carry experience, so I'd love to talk about it really briefly. This is their Typhus. This is what the box looks like. Comes with a few goodies inside, nothing too crazy, but the real star of the show is here. So it's a fixed blade, punch dagger style that can go on your belt. I just wear it on my strong side. And then, yeah, you pull it out, boom, and yeah, you can go to work. You can get some nice jabs and hooks in there. But then also, if you want to open your Amazon boxes, which I do use this for that primarily. I mean, I've never fought with this thing, so I can't say that this is primarily a fighting blade. But yeah, the really cool thing is this is literally a transformer. Very quickly become my go-to blade of choice. So cool, thanks to all the friends, and let's get into the video. I was really pleasantly surprised with how this gun shot. Initially I wasn't really expecting it would be all that much, especially given that it's like an OG style gun. There's nothing custom or performance racy about it. So I was like, you know, whatever, it'll be fine. Oh, I was like, holy smokes, this is a great gun. This shoots, I can do good work with it, better work with it than I can, you know, a stock 43X out of the box or a stock 365 out of the box. I'm more capable and more confident with this gun. And there are a few key reasons why. The gun feels, I'm not sure if it is heavier. I'd love to put that on screen, confirming whether it is or not. It feels heavier, and with weight comes more recoil control, more mass to absorb that explosion. Shooting doubles, even shooting a bill drill. Like, I got all the rounds on paper, which I wasn't expecting. Now, granted, I don't have like all that many rounds through this gun. This is like a first impressions video. Would love to do a follow-up on it a little bit later. The fun thing about this gun and this style of like striker-fired guns are like the reliability is boring. It's just going to work. Take care of it. You know, if you lubricate it every once in a while, you clean it every long once in a while, like it's going to serve you well and you can trust your life to it absolutely. It's that Tupperware gun. Kind of like a Tesla. Really no maintenance at all, but you know it's going to work. Unless it catches fire. What makes this gun nice and controllable is the grip texture, for one. Feels really, really good in the hand. Definitely provides you something to grab onto and stay vice down on. I was noticing a little bit of grip slippage under recoil, but that's kind of to be expected with a smaller, snappier gun because yes, it is snappy. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. The trigger, however, that is really surprisingly good. This gun, prior to the day that we shot it, it had never had a round through it. So the trigger is only going to get better from here. You hit a very nice and firm wall, not any creep really whatsoever. Great break, pretty predictable, probably at like 4.5 pounds to 4.5 to 5.5. I don't know, I would say. And then reset is a little bit weak, but that's fine. You just come off from the break and then you can get right back on that predictable wall and push right through. Although the gun felt snappy, the muzzle rise feels natural. And if you're trying to shoot like a little bit faster than, you know, just planking around, hanging out, having fun, you're able to see where that dot's going and to reliably and predictably get that back in your line of sight. The Shield Plus is not a 2011. It's not a race gun. It's not a competition gun, but it is going to be a very serious contender to carry with. And I'd love to show what are the carrying characteristics of this gun. This is not a holster for this gun, but it like mostly works. It almost covers the trigger guard. All right, so looking at how this thing carries, I'm going to throw in the 10-round magazine. Right now we are rocking the Age Tech belt, which has been fantastic. And I've been enjoying running that as my EDC belt of choice. Let's see here. So yeah, the Shield Plus, this is a kind of standard size t-shirt. Great for summer. This is this is a grout fit, boys. Holy smokes. But yeah, as you can see, not really printing. Like sure, a little bit depending on how I slouch or whatever, but there's no wedge on this. Pretty minimal concealment stuff. So this gun will disappear on you and it will not be a problem for summer, especially for winter. So for those who are new here, I like to share my stats. Just be transparent. I'm 5'5". I'm 138 pounds. And yeah, this gun, if it works for me, I'd be shocked if it didn't work for you. Likely, if you're a taller guy, you could probably get away for sure with throwing that 13-round magazine in there and calling that a day. Because if you're a taller guy, you likely have bigger hands that probably need that extra real estate, that extra little bit of a, half inch to fill in and give that bottom of the palm as well as the pinky, even though that's something that the extension that you do have to get separately will provide for you in that 10-round mag. But this just gives you a more full 3D experience. So the one thing that's very charming about this gun to me that really strikes me is like it feels like this versus the new hotness. Every month I'm getting a new gun, or I'm entertaining a new carry gun or something like that. It feels like in the industry, like every month there's a new firearm released, especially the ones focused on concealed carry. So you have new options constantly just coming right at you. Ones with an optic cut, ones with better optic cuts, ones with a different frame, a different grip, ones that come ported, ones that have longer barrels, threaded barrels, a new texture package, better triggers, stuff like that. And quite honestly, like a lot of times at the end of the day, especially when you get caught up in the craziness and the consumerism, like you have to ask yourself, what problem for me does this gun not solve? Like completely not solve. Because when you look at it, when you dissect it, it is reliable. It's concealable. It has an optic cut in it. At least this one does. So it's 2026 friendly and friendly for like the older folks whose eyes are starting to go. It is absolutely affordable. It's definitely shootable. I would absolutely give it that. And the capacity is acceptable. I would say better than that because it's giving you pretty much what the other guns, what the other competitors are offering as well. And so I think this is a fantastic gun for a first time concealed carry. I think in a way it almost beats out the Glock 19 because it's just more beginner friendly. You don't have to change up the sights. You don't have to get a cut for an optic. Although the Gen 6 exists, which I do want to look at the Glock 19 Gen 6. And that might change my mind with this gun, but this one's thinner inherently, so it's going to carry a little bit better. It's going to be a lighter gun. The grip texture is fantastic. Trigger is really quite pleasant, surprisingly pleasant. The big downside that I did have, the one thing that I really didn't love about this gun is once you're on slide lock on your last round, hitting that thumb magazine release.
I got it with this finger.
Is arduous and actually it can get painful the more that you try and fail. So probably throwing in an extended mag release that would fix that pretty easily. Honestly, if I were to wake up and start from scratch, my current carry gun is a Smith Wesson Body R 2.0, and this just feels like quite literally the big version of it. If I had to start from scratch and if I had to pick an 9mm, I think this gun would really ultimately be near the top of the list of what I would choose to go out and get and choose to reach for. Although the gun kind of lacks that cool factor, that modern look with racy features, I think it does represent something that the firearms industry has kind of been lacking. Oh, this is kind of nice. See, I'm just leaning back here. The firearms industry has kind of been lacking for some time here, which is not every carry gun, although I'm a sucker for ports, man. I'm a huge sucker for Compton ported guns. Like if you throw both of them in, oh man, that'll get me. But not every gun needs a compensator. Not every gun needs ports. Not every carry gun needs a mag well, a trigger polish job. It just needs to work. It just needs to do the job, conceal comfortably, and then when you pull it out, when there's a bad guy right in front of you, that you can trust and know that it's going to go off with the rounds going where that little red dot or that front sight is pointed, and it's going to be repeatable, consistent, and reliable. So it's guns like these that remind me that practicality matters greatly, especially in this category of gun. There certainly are categories that target craftsmanship, that target heritage, that target specific period or moment frozen in time and maximizing performance and things like that. But I would argue that for most people, and probably even for myself, despite, constantly chasing some of those things with my carry guns, that doesn't matter. And you shouldn't be worrying about that kind of stuff for the everyday carry, for the EDC daily rotation. So although this gun might be one of the least exciting ones that I've had on the channel, I think it's a really important video to make. I think it's a really important gun to talk about. And I'm really grateful that I had the chance to bring it on, get some shots down it, and kind of dissect why the more budget-friendly but extremely reliable, not cheap guns are so critical. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found something useful out of it. If you already have a Shield Plus, let me know how you have been enjoying it or which variant that you have. Excited to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. God bless you and your family. I love you guys. Stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next video.